What is up, champion puppy owners? Do you want a streamlined ownership experience? Do you want a socialized dog with manners, responsiveness, and general life skills? Great, you're in the right place. This podcast is for the accountable puppy owner who wants to better know and grow their dog. Welcome to or welcome back. So what we're talking about this week is confinement. So not just the crate, but other kinds of confinement that I have in the Champion Puppy Training System for you to utilize in a systematic way. So yesterday we talked about why does it make sense to confine in general? And really what we boiled it down to was it's a focus tool. It's not like a punishment tool. You're using the crate proactively as part of your dog's daily regimen, and our approach, part of what we call the Champion's daily regimen, where if you haven't seen graphs, if you haven't allowed me to walk you through that, by all means, check out our app, where we do have a free version of that available to you, or I better explain it in some of the mini courses or the full course that we have for you there at championpuppytraining.com. With that said, today we're going to talk about what's the best practices in regards to actually utilizing that, where like the rubber meets the road, like how do you get your puppy in the crate, and just some, again, best practices in around that. So I would like to use the crate literally from day one. So if you listen to some of my, bringing your puppy home first couple days, first couple nights podcasts that I've had some clients who were nice enough to allow me to record me answering their questions and walking them through that, you'll see that I am a big proponent of using the crate day one. And I like to use the crate a lot during that first day, and in general during the day, even if it's not your puppy's first day home, it might be its 30th or 90th. I want to make sure that you're using that crate throughout the day. And this is what I give my clients as a guide in regards to when and kind of how long is a half hour at breakfast time, because you have too much going on. Like, you just have a lot of irons in the fire. Whether you have a busy family or not, you need to get caffeinated. You need to get some food in you. You're getting ready for work. There's just a lot going on. And so that's also a good time to then feed your dog in advance using that crate. If you can, as I mentioned last time, having two crates can be useful. You might have one downstairs, like right off the main room or kind of part of the kitchen. And then you might have one in the room where your puppy's actually going to sleep. It might be on the second floor, or just might be in a bigger laundry room, or in like a unused dining room that's otherwise isolated and darker. What we do with the crate then is use it as a tool to have your puppy not have access to the ground. And after you feed your dog and your dog eats very quickly, and that's something that we're going to talk about in coming podcasts, and that we have as a staple in the Champion Puppy Training System, is that your puppy has to eat quick. Because if not, then it's not going to produce quick bowel movements, and it's not going to want what you have at meal times. And that's when we do our initial food-based training, is at meal times, when your puppy's the hungriest with its normal kibble. So ideally, you would train your puppy for about 5 or 10 minutes with food, give your puppy the rest of its food out of a Kong wobbler or a food tumbler. So it'll have to continue to work and being stimulated to get its food out. Then you put your puppy in the crate at breakfast time. That's going to make it where you're going to find out if you have a 20-minute pooper or a 40-minute pooper. And you're going to take your puppy out of the crate when you're done eating. And from there, your puppy should have to go number 2 right away. So you're using the crate not just to focus your dog's attention on chewing at this time during the morning routine, but you're also using the crate to help you in baking a turd. So in my course, in one of the videos, I explained it as you're using the crate as if it's an oven, and your puppy is like a frozen pizza, that you buy from the grocery store. And if you put a frozen pizza in an oven and you took it out and it wasn't done, would you eat it? No, you put that frozen pizza back in the oven, continue to cook it until it's done. And same deal with your puppy. If your puppy isn't ready to produce stool yet, then you're going to either put it back in the crate on a bone, or just back in the crate, or you're going to keep your puppy on a leash next to you, which we'll talk about later on this week. Remember, half hour at breakfast time, one, just because it's going to mitigate nipping, jumping, chewing, potty training issues, It just allow you to focus on yourself. Just like they say in the airplane before you take off is you got to put that mask on yourself first. Same deal when you own a puppy. You got to get some caffeine in you, get some food in you, get ready for the day so you're not trying to put your makeup on, trying to make the eggs while you're trying to develop a champion. All right, let's like compartmentalize and really give you some focus, and then let's really give your puppy some focus, or your kids, or whatever that means for your morning routine. Then when you take your puppy out, you get that bowel movement that should be right on time like clockwork. You get some pee as well. Then from there, I want you to do another sprint, which we'll talk about in future podcasts. But that's just something that's active with your dog that burns primal energy and develops your dog and develops your communication system with your dog. Then from there, you're going to put your dog on a bone and then back in the crate again from about 9 to 12 every day. So that might be 8 to 11 for you, or 9:30 to 1. But initially, you're not going to get this nice, clean 3-hour runs in the mid-morning, but you should get that within about a week of having your puppy home. So far, we have your puppy in the crate for about a half hour at breakfast time while you're prepping and eating. And then from there, your dog goes number 1 and number 2. Then you hit it hard with your dog with some activity and then some chewing. Then from there, your dog goes back in the crate. So you can get stuff done around the house or for work or whatever the case might be. Even if you're at work at home, your dog should have a routine where it's offline every day in this manner. You hit it hard at lunch for what I call the power hour and a half at lunch, where you're just doing another cycle of taking your dog out to go to the bathroom, hitting it hard from an activity standpoint, put your dog on a bone. And a lot of times, if your dog's under 6 months, that initial period of activity, that sprint, is going to be some food-based training and having your puppy get its food out of its Kong wobbler. Then from there, giving it a bone in the crate. Then you take your dog out to go to the bathroom. Then from there, you'll do some training through play, maybe some walking-based training or some hiking. Then your dog goes back in the crate for about 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Again, it might be 12 o'clock to 3:30. But it should be a long stretch in that afternoon. Typically, I look for at least 3 hours. And you do the same thing again at dinner time. So what we do initially at breakfast and then mid-morning is the same thing we do, but just in reverse for mid-afternoon and evening time. And you might find it useful to also put your puppy in the crate for a little bit in the evening time as well. But at least those 4 times, breakfast, mid-morning, mid-afternoon, and dinner during the week. And it ends up being where your puppy spends about, 7 to 8 hours in the crate for that stretch. And keep in mind, your puppy sleeps like 18 hours a day. Dogs sleep a lot. So it's not like you're doing a disservice to your dog. A lot of times my clients will say, well, that just doesn't sit well with me. And, yet they're hiring me because their dogs are peeing and pooping all over their house and nipping their kids. And I ask them, not jerkingly, but as professionally as possible, does your dog taking a crap on your carpet sit well with you? And so at some point, we want to commit ourselves to quality over quantity. It's not about how much time your dog gets to spend outside of its crate doing whatever the heck it wants, but it's us developing its habit, using the crate strategically. And then from there, once we master the crate, once we master a nice tight regimen, then from there we start to loosen things up and give your dog earned freedom where it now makes the right decision. Going to a bone, laying down, it reacts appropriately with the stimuli in its environment. You have a higher level of relevancy and control, but most importantly, your puppy has its own self-control. So that's about, throughout the day how I want for you to utilize the crate. And remember, we're using the crate in a way where the faster we can get a tightly ran day, the faster we can stop using the crate. I'm in a hurry to stop being so boot camp-esque in my ownership model, but I know the quicker I can get my dog in a nice tight Champions Daily regimen and firing on all cylinders, the quicker I can become a loosey-goosey liberal hippie owner. But we got to be a little militant at first. Not with your dog, but with your self-discipline and you staying on top of things. So this isn't a matter of discipline equals being a jerk. This more means a matter of driving the process kind of discipline for you, okay? Hopefully you feel better like when it makes sense to use the crate throughout the day. And what we're going to do in the next podcast is go over like how to get your dog in the crate, how to get your dog out of the crate, and just how to incorporate the crate in your daily training. So that way it becomes more of a mundane thing versus like you're just, using the crate for confinement purposes, where I really want you using the crate as much as you possibly can just to warm your puppy up to the usage of going in and out of it with control. You'll see what we talk about next podcast is what we do for the crate in regards to good protocols in and around it can be used at your front door, can be used at your car door. So when your dog's jumping out of the car and stuff like that. So you'll see that there's a lot of carryover with times of transition when you're getting your puppy in and out of different things. So with that said, hopefully you had a couple takeaways from today's podcast. You can really envision in your mind's eye how you can best put the crate to work for you. If you're running into problems with it, you have any questions, we're here for you at championpuppytraining.com. And I'll be anxiously waiting for you in tomorrow's podcast. Remember, champion puppy owner, action over anxiety, discipline equals freedom. Take the next step, do what you know how to do. Drive the puppy training process. Truly commit yourself to this and hit it hard for a short period of time so you can stop working on your dog and simply enjoy them. I'll see you next time.